Hey guys, what's up? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. As you can tell, I've got the FIFA on and also I'm talking to camera, so I'm kind of mixing the two things I do, which is FIFA and talking to the camera about Chelsea. As you can see from the title of the video, it's not going to be a normal kind of review of yesterday's game. It's based around yesterday's game, but what I want to talk about mainly is what's gone wrong at Chelsea, because I think now, just me sitting here like I did at the West Ham review, which was kind of my genuine opinion, but I think now I kind of have to put just emotion out of the way, which is very difficult, but I want to talk about what I think's personally gone wrong. We're at the start of November now, so I think it's an appropriate time to talk about, for me, with the last 3 or 4 months, the big problems that have gone on at Chelsea, the mistakes that have happened. So as you can see, I'm going to be playing a game online seasons. I'm playing as Wolfsburg. I'm actually doing really bad in Division 7. I've only got 5 games remaining. I've lost 4 and drawn 1, so not very good. But I do like playing as Wolfsburg, so I'll play this and also talk at the same time, hopefully. I think that starting off with Chelsea, I'll go right back to the end of the season in May, where we just won the Premier League. Now, at that time, everyone was very happy. I think I was a bit exhausted from football. I was kind of happy that the season ended. I thought it was a brilliant way to end the year, winning the Premier League, just an amazing day against Sunderland. Then, of course, we go on those 2 postseason games. I think it was, one of them was definitely I'm playing Liverpool, surprisingly. Of course, when after yesterday, I'm playing Liverpool. But I think that going on those postseason games, one of them was in Sydney, I believe, and then there was another one, and both of those games for me were just strange. Why did we do them? I don't understand. The players were absolutely exhausted. They dominated the Premier League, put in lots and lots of effort over the season, and then they're going on 2 postseason games pretty much for the only intention is for commercial reasons. Now, commercial reasons in terms of the mistakes made in terms of balancing kind of commercial and branding in actual what's best for the team and what's best for the club is something that's going to pop up a lot in this video, because it replicates itself and re-emerges with the pre-season. I didn't understand it. I think it was a stupid idea, especially considering the fact that players have to go out on internationals, and the fact our players were shattered, and they were expected to be. At the end of a long season, most players are, and especially our players, because they'd played so many games. It was well documented that our form kind of dropped off at the end of the season, but we still were able to win, grind out a load of results, and we were able to win the Premier League. So I think the team definitely deserved that. And I think those games were just stupid. I just don't understand it. And Gary Neville, funny enough, in commentary on the Sunderland game, which he did for Sky, the last game of the season, I remember watching it after coming back from the game to kind of see the celebrations back and all of that. He actually said, it is a bit strange, and considering it can have a negative effect. Now, he's not saying that in hindsight. He was saying that back in May on the last day of the season. So once again, Gary Neville, I respect as much as a pundit, he was saying it back then. So, and I was thinking as well, it's not good, because these players, already have had a long, hard season as it is, and they're going to have to play another 2 games. Sure, it's two games, but there's a lot of travelling involved, going over to Sydney. That's a long distance travel for a lot of mainly European players, who of course live in England. So it's for me, it didn't make a lot of sense. And then we move on to kind of the transfer window. Now, I did a video on this channel. I didn't think we had the worst transfer window. Now, have my opinions changed on that? No, I don't think it was a shambolic transfer window. When you sign a player like Pedro, I don't think you can call it a shambolic transfer window. Clearly, mistakes were made. We weren't ruthless enough. We didn't go out there and try and improve the squad, try and definitely upgrade on players we have, or go out and make that one marquee signing. Pedro was really the only marquee signing. I think the problem, as you can see now, which is another thing I'll come on to, is just players being too comfortable in their positions. Not enough competition for places. And I think that has led to I think that is maybe a part in it, and also not bringing fresh talent who were hungry, and also just improve on what we had, to try and going out and buying a player maybe like an Anton Griezmann. I know it isn't easy. I'm playing FIFA, but I am well aware that it's not easy to go out and sign these players. But I still do think, now looking at it, more probably should have been done. And I was kind of underwhelmed by the transfer window for a large majority of it. until the City game where we got our act together and went out and signed Pedro. But you look at it now and you think, yeah, we probably should have done more in the transfer window, and I think that was a problem as well, moving from the transfer window onto pre-season. I know I probably have American Chelsea fans who watch this and are dying to see Chelsea play. Fully understand that, and once again, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't understand the need for branding in football. I don't understand the need for marketing. I'm not going to be a fan who sits here and says, oh, I can't really bother to talk about that. I understand how important it is with FFP and advertising, and I fully understand that. And unfortunately, if some people think it isn't good, it's just the way football's going. I just think, once again, it didn't help us in the long run. You play, oh crap, they scored. You play in a tournament where we played 3 games, weren't prepared at all for the season, not good enough. Actually, I think we played 4 games in that International Champions Cup. So you want, like, the thing is with being involved in these Champions Cup, they decide when you play. You don't decide when you play. I mean, I may be wrong on that, but the schedule came out in about April. So my guess is Chelsea didn't get to arrange their own friendlies. The season before was the perfect pre-season I've ever seen Chelsea do. It was after World Cup, which is usually when you have struggle, because as a big club, you have players coming back from international duty. They all come back at different times depending on how their national team did in the tournament. You know, you have different times, and luckily we had like Costa, Fabregas and players like that coming back because they played for Spain. So we had a large contingent of Spanish players who came back because they were knocked out quite early. But still, that pre-season we got about 8 or 9 games in of solid playing time. And Jose got a chance. There was no long distance travelling. Jose got to mould the team, and as we saw at the start of the season, it's what helped us play some brilliant football and really go on and dominate the league and stay on top from day one. Looking at this season, we play 3 games in America. We come back late, lots of travelling. We lose to New York Red Bulls reserves, I think it was. They put out a reserve team but still beat us 4-2. We look shambolic at the back. We just look poor all round. We look lethargic. Then we go into, once again, what a save. What I'll talk about is some of the problems that I'm seeing reoccurring and I think are big problems. And it kind of relates all back. I think it all relates in kind of one big kind of thing. And I'm going to get onto Jose in a minute. I think that you have players in there who are just clearly either lost the hunger or are too comfortable with their place. Come on, got to score here. Good save by Mignolet. Now I'm going to move on to Jose Mourinho. People, for some reason, on this channel, on like people who tweet me daily, kind of who have a problem with Jose. I'm not saying opposition fans. I'm saying Chelsea fans who just want him out for some reason. Chelsea fans who want him out will tweet me very frequently about Jose. The thing is with Jose is they think that I don't give him any criticism and think that he is immune from criticism. Jose Mourinho is not immune from criticism. He deserves lots of criticism for this year. He deserves a lot of it because, firstly, the whole Ivo Carneiro situation, which has kind of been synonymous with the bad form, and it kind of annoys me because I think it shuts down a lot of debate about the actual kind of what's happened on the pitch and what I'm talking about today. Just to call it that Ivo Carneiro is the reason that Chelsea are struggling this season is kind of, for me, a bit ridiculous, but that's the way it is, you know. So that's what kind of annoys me. The whole way that situation was handled was so wrong from Jose. He should have come out on the Tuesday and just said there was a problem here on Saturday. Here in a moment, let's move on. But that didn't happen. So that's blown up, and as constantly just the negative stories. Jose as well, continuously playing players like Hazard, like Fabregas, like Ivanovic. You know, players, you can name a lot of them who just aren't performing, aren't doing well, aren't putting it in their all, and consistently leaving players like Loftus-Cheek, like Kennedy, like Traore, who when they come in and get their chance, look like they want to take it and look like they want to do something. Kennedy yesterday against Liverpool did more in 30 seconds than Hazard did for the 60 minutes. And, you know, Jose, once again, like going after press conferences where he blames the ref. You know, there's only so many times you can do that, and especially when we're getting battered 3-1 at home, it's not really good for, as a fan, coming out of the ground and seeing that. I said this in my Southampton review, you see him start bitching about the ref. It's not very good, and it's not, as a fan, it's not what I want to see. I want to see him criticising the players. I want to see him I know he's very loyal to his players, and if you want to criticise the players behind, sometimes like what he did yesterday, I actually think was good. Him just saying, I have nothing to say. I know people have called it stupid or whatever, and just going to criticise Jose no matter what he does. You know, it's better for me that he says, I have nothing to say, and walks out of all the interviews than sit there and moan about the ref, you know. And I think I'm happy he does that, you know, and that's kind of my opinion on it. I'm happy he does that rather than go on and bitch about the ref, and we've just got another, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but another shambolic defeat at home. You know, it's not good when he starts moaning about the ref. He deserves criticism for that. Where do we go from here? I still think, as I'll continue to say, why sack Jose? It's going to put us in a worse situation, in my opinion. We've got to stick behind our manager. I'll say this right now. Football goes in cycles. And this is something people maybe don't want to hear, yeah. But football does go in cycles. Sometimes you're winning, sometimes you're losing. And I'm not saying for 1 second, as I've laid out in this video, that the problems are okay and it's all fine and everything's fine and we shouldn't worry. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think sometimes people need a little bit of perspective in football. It annoys me when I go to like the League Cup final, for instance, and I see people walking out before the trophy's been lifted. Same with the Premier League, and it annoys me, and it goes back to people leaving 10 minutes before the end of a game. You don't know if that's the last trophy Chelsea are ever going to win. Now, most likely, that the Premier League isn't the last trophy Chelsea are ever going to win. You know, just the facts are Chelsea will probably win another trophy. We may even win one this season. But it's that whole mentality of you've got to appreciate the good times because you don't know what's around the corner. And even if we look like we're about to dominate English football again, don't do that, because for me it's just it annoys me when I see people do that, and I think it goes across the board with modern football, and you know, just seeing people who, you know, just don't cherish those good times, you know. And I'm not saying that we're very privileged still as Chelsea fans, I think, to have all the success and to have all the happy days, and you know, having perspective, and you know, we've got to stick behind Jose. I believe he is the best man for this job, and he's got to be given time that he has earned from all he's done in the past few years, and winning the Premier League by such a margin last year and doing such a brilliant job with signings. Deserves that time to get things right. I think what he's got to do is drop players like Hazard, which he started doing. Drop players who just aren't performing. Start playing players in positions. I consistently see it that Baba Rahman, what was the point in paying 20 million? And here's the thing, it goes on both ways. What was the point in paying Augsburg 20 million if we're not going to play him? And also, what was the point in paying 20 million if he isn't good enough? So that's on both sides, because I know people will comment me saying, oh, he ain't good enough. But that's just, for me, it's still a no-brainer. Why did we pay that money if you ain't going to play him? And if he ain't good enough, why is he at Chelsea? For me, it's annoying me when I see Coutinho at right back, because I think you're not utilising the guy's full potential. It annoys me when I see Willian consistently be our best player by a mile, putting 110% every game, and he's not getting what he deserves, which is being on the winning side at the end of the game. That's what kind of frustrates me in a way. And, you know, and it does annoy me when I see players like him, he's probably the only player in the Chelsea squad who's improved from last season. You know, I don't think you can name any other Chelsea player this season. Maybe Ramires, actually, who for me has improved his performances. But other than that, him and Willian definitely are the only two Chelsea players for me who look better than last season. I think also something that I haven't mentioned is the fact is we only really have one true leader in there at the moment, and that's John Terry. Lampard's gone, Drogba's gone, and now Cech's gone. In seasons past, when we've had usually troubles, they're the ones who pull us through. I want to see leaders and players step up in that team, because that team last year that dominated the league, looked brilliant, who were good going forward, brilliant defensively. I know those players ain't that bad. I just know they ain't, because I saw it week in, week out. You can't just fluke winning the league. I want those players to come out and show some fight. I've continued to say this, and it just doesn't happen. So I'm sick and tired of coming on here and saying, I want to see the players give some fight, because I think now it's just the time of, for me at least, where we are, start of November, looking at the problems, in my opinion, what have been the big problems from the last 3 months that have really sort of screwed up this season. And the losses don't help, but I think the positive thing is the fact is we have stuck behind Jose for everything. So, you know, and the fans still, the overwhelming majority of Chelsea fans, the large majority of Chelsea fans who are in that stadium still want Jose to stay, because we still believe in him. We want him to stay because it's so painful thinking of him leaving. You know, I just wanted to talk about, for me, what the problems were. As I said, we actually beat Liverpool, played with Wolfsburg, and now we're getting closer to getting out of relegation, because I haven't been playing that well in the seasons. But thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, share this, like this, tell me in the comments your opinions on what I've said in this video. You can follow me on Twitter at Son of Chelsea. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. More Chelsea videos, also more FIFA videos. My career mode's returning. It's been a crazy week. Before I go, I just want to explain why my 1K video. I said that from now on, with Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think it was, I'm gonna start uploading my career mode. Last week was the craziest week. Of course, I was out at Stoke on Tuesday night. Did all the fan cams, came back. I think I didn't get to sleep here till about 4 a.m. Then I had to wake up early on I think it was Wednesday, and of course I met KSI and Akin Fenwell, which meeting KSI was just incredible, and it's one of the it's just so crazy. And then it continued because of course I had to film Let's Talk Chelsea on Thursday, and we're up again, and it's just been a crazy week. So hopefully we can get back some sort of schedule this week, but that's why there weren't many uploads this week, and it does annoy me. But as I say, I'll be getting back to regular content, bringing more stuff for you past 1K now. Let's continue to grow this channel. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys to people who come up to me at the games recently and come up and say hi. It's always cool when I see people who watch my channel. It's cool to meet you guys in person. Also, opposition fans who I talk to, who you guys know who you are, who we talk intelligently about football, and I respect you guys for watching my content. So thank you guys, and I'll see you again.